Stats. So let's talk about NHL stats leaders. And I wanted to do it a little different today because I want to do it a little different every time I do the stats videos, so it's not just rattling off all the same information all the time. We'll get the obvious out of the way, which is your points leaders. Pasternak leads with 30. Marchand second with 28. Draisaitl 27. McDavid 24. John Carlson with 23. So he's slowed down a little bit. He's only on pace for about 100. Goals leader, Pasternak 15, Draisaitl 13, Austin Matthews with 12. James Neal and Alex Ovechkin have 11 each. On the assists side of things, Marchand leads with 18, McDavid 17, Carlson 16, Barkov 15, and Pasternak 15, and I still expect Connor McDavid to end up at the top of both the assists and the points list by the end of the year. He's only 6 off, and there's a lot of time left. And I don't think Pasta's going to keep up this pace. I just don't. Now, if you look at scoring by draft class, this is where it gets interesting. Now, with the 2019 draft class, I'm going to admit that I cheated a little bit here. I just want to compare Hughes and Kakko, because Heinola technically would be on here as well, but I want to compare Hughes and Kakko. 13 games for Jack Hughes, 3 goals, 4 assists. Kaapo Kakko, 12 games, 2 goals, 3 goals, 2 assists for him. So both of them are starting to get acclimated, and while their rookie totals may not be what they're going to score after this year, I think they've both adjusted pretty darn well. 2018 draft, Svechnikov, 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points. There's supposed to be a 1 in front of that. I was probably distracted because I knew the first upload of the preview video this morning was corrupted, and my brain went, hey, it's corrupted, what are you doing? Dahlin, 1 goal, 9 assists, and Quinn Hughes with 2 goals, 9 assists. He's played 1 less game than Dahlin, 14-15. So, Quinn Hughes has been quite the revelation in Vancouver. He really has. 2017 draft, Elias Pettersson, 15 games, 6 goals, 14 assists for him. Cale Makar, 15 games, 1 goal, 11 assists for him. And Makar is, to me, the guy who's probably going to win Rookie of the Year this year. That being said, Quinn Hughes is making an argument for himself. 2016 draft, Austin Matthews, 16 games played, 12 goals, 6 assists, 18 points. Matthew Tkachuk, 18 games played, 9 goals, 9 assists, 18 points, which doesn't show that he's been picking up steam. Matthew Tkachuk's been getting better as the season goes along. From the 2015 draft, McDavid, 16 games played, 7 goals, 17 assists, 24 points. Eichel, 15 games played for him. 7 goals, 10 assists, 17 points. And Mitch Marner, 16 games played, 4 goals, 13 assists, 17 points. And, so the 2015 draft, a few pretty good players in there. 2014, Pasternak, 15 games, 15 goals, 15 assists, 30 points. I like symmetry. It's nice. Draisaitl, 16 games, 13 goals, 14 assists, 27 points. So, yeah, I mean, put together, they've played 31 games and got 57 points. Pedestrian. And it is interesting because of all of the draft classes on the board, they are by far the leading 2. And both good European players. 2013 draft, Nathan MacKinnon, 15 games, 8 goals, 10 assists for 18 points. Barkov, 14 games, 2 goals, 15 assists, 17 points for him. 2012 draft, Morgan Rielly is your leading scorer out of the 2012 draft. 16 games, 3 goals, 12 assists, 15 points. And Tomas Hertl, 16 games, 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points for him. Then I thought, let's just look at undrafted. All the players who are undrafted that are in the NHL, where's your leading scorer? And that's Artemi Panarin. 12 games, 6 goals, 6 assists for him. Mark Giordano, 18 games, 4 goals, 8 assists for him. And Torrey Krug, 15 games, 2 goals, 10 assists. So sometimes the real key to having a good general manager, being able to find that player who slipped through the draft, nobody's paying much attention to, and you can pick them up. Goaltending. And again, I went by draft class, and I only went with the top guy, according to save percentage. There's only one goaltender from the 2016 draft in the NHL, and that's Carter Hart. He's got a 4-3-1 record and an .885 save percentage. His save percentage did come up pretty nicely from last night's effort. The 2015 draft, Samsonov, a 5-1 record, .915 save percentage. From the 2014 draft, Thatcher Demko, 4-1 with a .938 save percentage, the highest number on the board. Tristan Jarry has a 1-3 record, but a .929 save percentage. Connor Hellebuck has a 6-5-1 record and a .930 save percentage. John Gibson from the 2011 draft, 6-7 with a .923 save percentage. And the undrafted goaltender, Carter Hutton, 6-2-1 with a .928 save percentage. Yeah, I went one draft further back because it's a lot smaller list. So I thought, I'll just throw 2011 on there. The 2011 draft for skaters, the top scorers, it was like a 5-way tie for second. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to leave that off for now. We may come back and revisit this later in the year. I just thought it was an interesting way of looking at things because we're always talking about the draft and who won the draft and who was number one in the draft and all this. Well, the 2018 draft, your number one pick is Dahlin. He's in there. 2017 draft, no. 2016 draft, yes, because you've got Matthews. 2015 draft, yes, you got McDavid. 2014 draft, no. 2013 draft, yes, McKinnon. 2012 draft, of course, no. And so usually the number one draft pick will be your best player. And so far, I would put Hughes ahead of Kakko. It's still very early. 13 games to 12 is very, very early. And that 13th game Kakko plays tonight against the Wings. So the odds of him picking up a point, well, it's Detroit, so he might. Now, teams. Goals for per game. Nashville leads with 4.00. Washington 3.94 and Boston 3.73. Goals against per game. Boston was number one in this over their last couple of games. They've kind of face planted. Arizona's now, or the Islanders now lead at 2.14. Arizona's second at 2.27. Boston and Vancouver are tied for third with 2.33. And last night, in between periods, I believe it was Ian McIntyre on the Canucks broadcast was talking about how Boston and Vancouver are putting up some of the best advanced stats in the league. And, wouldn't that be a fun series again? To which I went, actually, yes. At this point, if Boston and Vancouver met again in the final, that would be fun. For so many reasons. Anyways, blocked shots. And everyone who's not a Canucks or Bruins fan just went, oh, no, we're not going to do that again. Blocked shots. Islanders 259. You're welcome for the GIF. Washington 252 and Ottawa 243. So, yeah, the Islanders are blocking some shots. And Islanders fans can tell you that. Face-off percentage. This is why I don't track face-offs, because the top team is not usually the top face-off team. Philadelphia, 55.8%. Vancouver, 54.5%. And Toronto, 52.9%. Philadelphia's had their struggles. Toronto, of course, there's lots of drama about how good Toronto is or isn't. And Vancouver's had a pretty darn good start. So out of the top three, you could argue one of them's a really top-tier team. The other two aren't. So that's why I don't really bother with face-offs. Shooting percentage. Washington, 12.8%, Nashville, 12.1%, and Boston, 11.4%. Now, Washington's shooting percentage is entirely too high. So we'll see if that comes down or if that's just a result of having Ovechkin and Oshie and guys like this that are playing pretty darn well on them. At the bottom of the list for shooting percentage, Los Angeles at 7.1%, Columbus at 7%. That has to be driving Tortorella nuts. Secretly driving him insane. And Detroit at 7. No fan of Detroit or LA is going to be surprised. But I'm surprised, personally, that Columbus' shooting percentage is that low. And yet, yeah, over their last couple of games, they haven't been scoring. They've been getting a lot of shots. That's kind of how that works out. So there you go. This week's This week's video on stats and all that wonderful stuff. And this week's, if you're looking for rookies, you got Makar right here, you got Hughes right here, and the other Hughes brother right there. And I want to say, too, that I've seen people saying, oh, well, we can see clearly Quinn Hughes is the better of the two brothers. No, we can't. You can't just come in and say, hey, of these two guys who are brand new rookies and they've played a combined 27 NHL games, we clearly know who the better player is. No, we don't. We have no idea who the better player is. We don't have a clue. We don't know between Hughes and Kakko who's better. We don't know between Dahlin and Hughes right now which one's going to be the better defenseman long term. It's going to be Dahlin, but for right now, the stats would show that they're right even with one another. And I understand getting caught up in the hype. There's been a lot of hype about Pettersson's start and oh, you know, how much they're comparing him to guys like Bure, and they're comparing him to a lot of big names that I really don't want to get into. I enjoy the fun starts like that, but I'm also I always keep one foot on the ground. And I do that more now that I have the channel than I used to. I think it's because I watch every game. So I go, yeah, that was a good game. That team had a good game tonight too. Yeah, that player had a really good night. So did that one. So I kind of try not to get too caught up. But if you want to, there's your statistics. And I thought looking by draft class was fun. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as always. I can also do a stats video next time around where I look at some of the older players in the league and see how they're doing. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, just tapping upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.